Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and if my voice sounds a little bit crusty, it's because I'm actually still recovering from a cold. Don't worry, just a regular cold, not the world-famous business that's going around at the moment. But yeah, about a week ago, Bulgaria released their song for Eurovision 2022, and I can't keep you lovely people waiting forever. I'm certainly tired of waiting to talk about the song, so let's talk about the song. Yeah, it's not Albania for a change, but then again, sidebar, the first year that I did Eurovision reviews, Ukraine was the first country to release their song, and then the second year I did reviews, it was North Macedonia, so to me, it's normal for Albania to not open the season, but for a lot of people it isn't. So, yes, Bulgaria kicking things off this year with a supergroup called the Intelligent Music Project, bringing a song called Intention. Now, the group consists of Rainbow frontman Ronnie Romero, which is kind of a surprise, as well as Bisa Ivanov, Slavin Slavchev, Ivo Stefanov, Dimitar Sirakov, and in the studio version, Simon Phillips on drums, but when it comes to live performances, drums will instead be provided by Bulgarian sweetheart Stoyan Yankulov, who you might remember from the 2007 and 2013 contests. The song is presented completely in English, and music and lyrics predominantly by Dr. Milan Vabrevsky, who is kind of the face of the project, as it were. He's the one who's done all the funding. It's the Intelligent Music Project and its associated record label is largely a Milan Vabrevsky affair, but arrangement was also provided by Ivo Stefanov and Bisa Ivanov, so credit where credit is due there. So people have had thoughts about this song, so shut up, it's my turn to think. Truth be told, I had mixed feelings, in all honesty, when the news first broke about this entry. On one hand, I am delighted to see Bulgaria striking out and going against the grain, in several senses no less, not least of which being that they're opening the season with their song reveal rather than closing it for once. On the other, though, I did see how lukewarm the general public reception was to this song, and I had hoped that it was just, the fandom at large reacting like they always seem to when, oh no, angry guitars get involved. I mean, just see what I said about Italy's song last year. The stereotypical Eurovision superfan, which isn't necessarily indicative of the actual community, tends to be allergic to angry guitars. But having heard the song, sadly, I do kind of get where that middling reception is coming from, which makes me sad. I am holding out hope that, whether it's in reaction to the public response or as part of their grand plan all along, that Team Bulgaria has something, anything up their sleeve for later in the season to turn this around into a more favourable position, whether that's a revamp or even something further outside the box than that. Hopefully not a disco remix like San Marino in 2016, but, the point is, it can be done. You can take a lukewarm reception and turn it into something more positive. Look at Portugal in 2021. When their song was first chosen, it got tepid public support, but then, by the time the contest happened, people were raving about it through the sheer impact of their live staging. We're only in December at the moment, so a lot could happen with Bulgaria, so don't write them off just yet. On that note, let's kick things off with things that you might like here. As things currently are, one thing that I do want to highlight is the idea behind this song. The music video ends with the song's general thesis statement that as long as your intentions are good, it's never too late to set things right. Putting aside the serendipity of that statement with respect to the general reception of the song, that's a good moral basis for the song's lyrical corpus, as well as a relatively novel concept to build a song around in the first place. On paper, it is very interesting. Musically and vocally too, I will give credit where credit is due. It doesn't come across as insincere or artificial or blustery. As far as I can infer, the music they're playing is true to the music they would play anyway, i.e. there's no sign of soulless corporate meddling or anything like that. And Ronnie's vocals seem to play into that as well. Say what you will about the actual lyrics themselves, but Ronnie delivers them with a suitable, plausible amount of conviction. None of them seem to begrudge being there, is basically the point that I'm getting to. The pinnacle of all of that, I find, is the guitar solo at about 2 minutes 20. That, to me, is easily the best, most engaging, most entertaining part of the song, where an instrument is finally able to break rank, take centre stage, and perform with just the utmost levels of passion. It's the rush of emotion and conviction that the song needed to stop it from completely stagnating, and, again, it radiates musical authenticity. More broadly speaking, as you can infer from some of the names involved with this song, Intelligent Music Project brings with it heaping helpings of both musical experience and cold hard cash, so when it comes to performing live, we can expect a certain pedigree of quality. We have musicians who are proficient in their craft, including the vocalist, and they have the budget behind it to help push the whole package when it comes to hitting the stage. In short, Bulgaria isn't doing amateur hour this year, and I feel like that is going to show in no small way. But, of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbow. That's a joke based on the group that Ronnie was a part of before this. And let's start with the obvious point when it comes to things that you might not like about the song. It's a rock song, so it's easy to just instantaneously write it off as a lazy attempt to cash in on the success of Måneskin's victory in 2021 with a rock song. I doubt that's the intention here, but it may still have informed the decision to invest in a song like this in the first place. Whether or not that truly is the reason behind this entry being submitted, though, the possibility alone is going to be enough to colour some people's perception of the entry right off the bat before they even actually give the song fair dues. What may further compound that is that this song, especially by the general standards of rock music in general, is, at least for my money, kind of unremarkable and unmemorable, I'm sorry to say. Sorry, Bulgaria, but if you are hoping to be compared to Ziti e Buoni, that was Gucci, this is Walmart. And I don't say that lightly because I don't much care for Americanized expressions that sort of belittle anyone who hasn't ever been to America. This song feels to me like album filler at best, in its current form. The melody is bland, the lyrics sound too much like a 13-year-old Tumblr user going through their emo phase, and the whole thing just leaves the mental imprint of impassioned noise. Like, yeah, I get the feeling behind it, I get the emotions, but in practice it's 3 minutes of guitar antics with little to make it stand out melody-wise, lyrically. I mean, the lyrics themselves, they feel try-hard, they feel Shadow the Hedgehog fanfiction at best, and I don't want to be mean in saying that, that's just the impression that they give. Case in point to all of this, when I first heard the refrain of this song, I actively found myself hoping, oh, please don't let this be the refrain, please let this be a bridge or a verse or something, just because of, in that moment, how little impact it left on me. I don't like the direction the music takes at that point, I don't like how repetitive it is, and to reiterate, it just does not leave an impression of any kind for me. Some songs feel like the verses are only there to fill time before the refrain, and that the refrain is the main selling point. This feels like the opposite of that, that the refrain is only there out of structural necessity, and the verses of the guitar solo are the real stars of the show. The song was written so those could have a stage, and the refrain is just there to fill time. Sorry for the tough love, Bulgaria, but this is kind of an oof from me at this stage, and I don't want to start the season on something so mean. So, my personal agony aside, when it comes to giving this song a numerical score, at the moment I'm landing on a personal 6. I like the ideas at play here, and to the song's credit, it does sound better coming out of a speaker system compared to how it does through headphones, which is how I usually listen to stuff. But overall, I am inclined to agree with the masses on this one. The concept writes checks that the product itself can't cash. There are ideas and names and talents at play, and none of them live up to their fullest potential at this stage, and I know that they're capable of doing better. This song could actually be brilliant, it just needs a couple of extra passes. As it currently is, it needs another few passes to be it. It's, I do think there is room for something special here. They may yet fancy it up before May, and they might turn it into something remarkable. And hey, even in its current state, it is at least passable. And it is infinity% better than sending nothing at all, or sending something that is actively, intentionally, deliberately bad. The worst thing they can do, really, is rest on their laurels and act as if there aren't improvements to be made before they hit the stage in Turin, because even if you like this sort of music, and broadly speaking, I do, you can't deny there is room for improvement here. On the technical side, meanwhile, I'm actually trying something a little different this year. I'll give each song a score out of 2 across 5 different categories, and then add that up to get the score out of 10. So first of all, lyrical quality, I give a 1 out of 2. The ideas presented are nice, and the general notions behind it are good, but there are more than a few moments that just come across as too try-hard, edgy emo poetry to be fully taken seriously. Rhetorically, it feels like the sort of thing that I would see if I were to read, say, fanfiction written by Chris Chibnall, the current showrunner for Doctor Who, for better or for worse, before he was picked up by the BBC. So it's not awful, but it has holes. Musical quality, again, a 1 out of 2. I can't fault the passion and experience that went into the arrangement of this one, but it leaves very little impact, especially at the refrain, which is supposed to be the most powerful, most marketable point of the song, and it just isn't here. When it comes to quality of the delivery, though, I will give a 2 out of 2. Full credit where it's due. Individually, each musician is giving it their all with what they have to work with, and Ronnie's vocals carry that more than adequately. I can believe that he does have an emotional stake in the message. He believes in it, even if the lyrics are, as I said, a little bit wanting. When it comes to its potential for staging, 1 out of 2. It's a tough call. They've definitely got the manpower and the money power to make something impressive happen, but there is only so much you can do when the source material gives you so little to work with. I don't foresee it looking like anything more than just a generic rock concert kind of vibes, but that did work for Måneskin, so again, don't write it off just yet. And finally, appeal, I think 1 out of 2. It isn't void of appeal to the general masses, but people who don't like rock will probably just write it off as bandwagoning noise, and people who do like rock will, I think, largely be unmoved. There is quality in there, but it's surrounded by a sea of mediocrity, and I feel so harsh in saying that, but everyone else seems to agree with me. So that's a technical score of 6 for a total of 12 altogether. Not fantastic, but as I said, there is time to improve. Now, is this a step in the right direction for Bulgaria? Well, I can't say that it's a move downwards in terms of quality, but it is kind of precarious. On paper, a rock supergroup with proven talent and substantial financial backing, that should be a safe bet. But when the end result is this lackluster, especially off the back of Bulgaria's levels of hype since their return in 2016, and especially following the hype that Victoria was able to garner, it's not a good look. Not least because there are some less than kind rumours about what was going on behind closed doors at BNT that led to this group being chosen in the first place. As I keep saying though, I am holding out hope that they realise there is work to be done. There is a diamond in this rough they just need to polish. If they acknowledge that, and they put things in motion to, as I said, polish this song, then their delegation is definitely in the right place, especially considering the sort of financial help that they do actually need in order to be able to participate in the first place. But if they aren't open to acting on public feedback this year, or if their financial backer has them under their thumb in such a way that it's, do what I say, ignore the public, or I won't give you the money and you won't be able to afford to participate, we would be right to worry for them. I've heard theories going around that this will end in a bad result for them, which will then lead to financial backers not being interested in supporting BNT, which will lead to them pulling out next year because they can't afford it. well, I say next year, 2023. There's a lot of unknowns, and we will just have to see what happens. I hope it doesn't come to that. So, do I think it'll qualify? Well, obviously, this is the literal first version of the first song of the 2022 season, and it's early December as I record this. It is mathematically impossible to say how this will do on the night for a number of reasons. We don't know what it's up against. We don't know what changes, if any, will be made to the song by the time the contest actually happens. And we don't know what they plan on doing for the live staging. It could completely turn it around. Montenegro 2016, for instance, that was a spectacular live performance of a song that I thought sounded better live than it did in the studio. The general consensus is that this is going to be fighting an uphill battle to reach the final at best, and I don't want to be negative, but as things currently are, I agree. At present, the most defining part of the song, the refrain, is its biggest weak point. That's the bit that's going to be in the recaps. That's the bit they want people to remember when voting for it, and that's the weakest part of the song. So unless they do something to remedy that, the focal point on the night will end up being its undoing. I'm holding out hope that they have the common sense to give the music a little bit more punch, if nothing else. Because a qualification isn't impossible by any means. Look at the money behind this. Look at the names behind this. It isn't impossible. It just doesn't look good in the present moment. But that's just my analysis off the back of a lot of cold medicine and generally being ill, so I might be talking out of my backside. What do you lovely people think? As always, listen to the song for yourself, come to your own conclusions, think your own thoughts, and don't let anyone tell you how to feel. I'm just reporting what I feel. You are more than welcome to disagree. So, yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments below, listen to the song for yourself. Not in that order, other way around. Listen to the song, let me know what you think, and yeah. I do sincerely wish Intelligent Music Project the very best of luck, because I can only reiterate, something good can come of this. They just need to put the time and effort in, and I believe in them. So, surprise me when you get to Turin.